welcome. Welcome to this live. We had like some technical issues in America with the connection, no? What happened, Sophia?
We had a blackout, another
Oh,
blackout.
wow. Well,
That's
anyways,
9 in 1 month.
wow, those are many, many like to be there. It seems like you're in Guatemala. I'm in Guatemala. I'm not having power cuts,
I
and you're
know.
having that in the US. Well, anyway, so 1 hour later is okay, no problem. I hope some people are still around and are joining this live session. Um, so today, what are we going to do in the next hour? So the purpose of this hour together is to understand and practice what is return to stillness. So for this, we have Sofia Mileri and myself, Julia Ramos Puente. This is my YouTube channel, so maybe some of you know who I am and what I do. The objective of this session, objectives in plural, because we want to accomplish several things, is like so that you get to know us better, so who we are, that you also understand why you might be needing something like this, something like returning to stillness. Another objective is like to practice a couple of practices that can help you return to your stillness. And as well, and most important, is that you understand what is the return to stillness retreat and what it can offer you. And at the same time that you also get to know better what is the inner reconnection spiral methodology. That is something that we have designed for this retreat in Guatemala happening in November. So lots of things to cover. Very excited for this session. Well, maybe we can start by some introduction. So Sophia, would you like to tell us more about who you are and why or how it's important for you to return to stillness in your life?
um, well, it's sort of I see it as a, thank you for having me here first. I see it as a, what in Sanskrit is called spanda, the word spanda, which is the great pulsation of the universe, where you return, you hug in, you come back into your inner being, and then you expand out again. So we return to stillness, and then we come back out even bigger, right? And so
That's
it's that
beautiful. I
concept.
didn't know about that concept. Yeah.
Yeah, spanda. And I've heard, and this is a digression, but I've heard that the word spanda, it's a Sanskrit word that basically describes the pulsation of the universe. And the pulsation of the universe isn't like, um, it's not where the contraction is the same as the expansion. The expansion is larger than the contraction each time. Just as when a flower kind of hugs in to bloom, and each a galaxy or a galaxy will compress and then expand out larger, right? So the Spondo describes that, but I've also heard that the word spandex, which is the stretchy material that workout and yoga clothes is made of, right? But that word spandex is from the Sanskrit word spanda, that means the stretchiness or the pulsation, the stretchiness of the universe. So just like we go in and we return to our stillness, we come back to ourselves and back to our center. Once we get back to our center, we can go back there. Then what's available to us is that bigness, that expansive energy. And we see it in our lives. You've seen it in your life because you are going through your expansive part.
I went through after my contraction part. Yes.
And I know that about you, and I know that about me. And so I guess that was a big digression. If you want me to introduce myself. My name is Sophia. I'm the owner of Villas del Carmen, which is a retreat center where Julia and I are going to do our beautiful retreat in November. and the center was crafted around this offering, right? So the whole reason it came into fullness and into being Villas del Carmen and where you're living now, and is for this purpose. It's so that people can be in a space that feels a container, a space that where you feel safe, where you feel held, where you feel like you have, where you feel nourished, and where you feel like you have the container from which to return and connect, not just with yourself, but connecting with other people around you. And then when you leave Villas del Carmen, when you leave Atitlán, you come from this space, this healing space, so that you can then use it as a springboard from which to move into your fullness, into this big, expansive next journey in your life. And so that's why I opened the space. That's why I went there to reimagine and rebirth this property and this business. And the ironic part, the irony of all of it is that through the work and through the drama of creating a business in Guatemala in a small village in the middle of nowhere with no roads, and the challenge of that and all the other challenges that came with it, and a horrible breakup that I went through, and all of these things, I went into a deep contraction. And that's where you witnessed me for the first time, was in that space where I had to come back into my stillness.
So it's something very present in our lives, no? So we're not, we're here like to basically support other people from what we've learned in our lives. Like this is something that we are creating and crafting from practice, from really practice and living that, and knowing that yeah, thank you for that concept, because I love it. I think in my life. So for people that normally my YouTube channel is in Spanish, so maybe whoever sees this in English doesn't know like who I am and what is my context, but definitely like my life has been a life of expansion and contraction, to tell you the truth. I love this idea of maybe changing the crisis, the concept of crisis, like to the contraction space. So I went like through different contraction moments in my life, where definitely I had to yeah, I had to stop what I was doing, and I had like to take some time for myself and to reconnect with who I am, what's important for me, you know, like I'm, yeah, especially like 2 years ago, I went through a burnout, and that was a very big reason like to stop everything that I was doing. And that's why I'm in Guatemala now, because I needed that space of reconnection and returning to stillness. So it's been a great opportunity like to be in such a healing place. Not only Villas del Carmen, but also the lake, Guatemala, Lake Atitlán is just like a healing place by itself. And so yeah, like for me it's very important now that I after like going through all those moments of reconsidering my life and reconnecting with myself, that this is something that the world needs, not only us. I mean, I guess that this is something that is happening like to many people, no? Like the world is keeping us busy, it's getting more complex, and we're running, no, from one place to the other, not having time for ourselves, to nourish ourselves, to take care of ourselves, you know, like to, yeah, to go in and reconnect with our soul, with our inner wisdom. yeah, I mean that's why this retreat is important for me, and that's why Sophia and I are creating this space, and also like this session for you, also like to have that opportunity, you know, like to go back to yourself. So yeah. For you, Sophia, what do you think? Like, how is the world? I mean, now that you are in the US, back in the US for some weeks, some months, how is life there? And what is the? Why do you think like so many people are feeling this disconnected? You know, like in these years.
Mm, I think everybody's story is unique, and
Mm,
I wouldn't want to generalize about why there's a disconnect or dissonance in someone's life. I can only speak for myself, and as women carry a burden that is it's what makes the world go round. You know, we're the portals, and so there's a lot to manage, a lot to do, a lot of pressure, a lot of doing and less being, and
mm,
so
mm,
and then when you decide that you've come to the end of your rope and you burn the candles at both ends,
mm,
when you need to go back to being and not doing, that isn't always accessible to women, especially if they are being constantly exposed to the um, the people who meet them,
mm,
the environments that they have made to feel contracted and made to feel small. And so
mm,
part of the offering, honestly, part of the retreat offering is just removing you from your environment and plopping you down and at the
mm,
shore of the lake, right? And
mm,
just
mm,
putting you here. Here you are. You're
mm,
at the lake now. We have no roads. You can't go anywhere. If you want to go somewhere, you're gonna have to get on a boat or walk there. And so that is the just in and of itself, the location in and of itself is part of the journey, the the kind of uh, forced
mm, mm,
isolation, right? And you're not isolated from others because you're surrounded by a nourishing container of other women, but you are being isolated from technology, triggers, your job, your
mm,
family,
mm.
things in your life that have caused you to feel disconnected or um, contracted, right?
Yeah,
So,
to add to that, what I also like feel is that nature is like so powerful, you know, like for me, yeah, in my life at least, I used to live in Madrid and very busy life, going from one task to the other. Yes, I was doing or I was practicing certain practices for self-care, you know, like yoga, or I was
mhm,
meditating, but it's true that that is something that I was doing just for maybe a couple of times a week or 3 times a week, and then yeah, living in a city where there is so much noise, so much like the speed of human beings there in a city is like so fast that yeah, that I think that to add to what you're saying, also the context of, you know, like being held in such a natural environment with
mhm,
so much silence, you know, and it's just like it's something that is that your body feels the moment you arrive here, which is like a breath out, you know.
mhm,
Ah, I have arrived
mhm.
to a place and to a container that we have created, which allows me like to do that breath out of wow, okay, now I have the time and the space, like to go deep into myself, into my being, into what I want, what I need, like to clear the mind, like to reconnect with the body. So yeah, I think it's also kind of the busy life in general of modern society that is, like making us disconnect. Even if we try, like to have these healthy practices at home, is not really the same as like really taking care of yourself for a week in such
Yeah.
loving and healing space and place. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you get to leave your life
mm, mm,
for
mm,
a little
mm,
bit. Get to leave your life for a little bit, and then there is an invitation. Obviously, a lot of people have to be checking in with family, with work, but there is an invitation to turn your phone off when you come to this retreat. It's not an obligation. We're not going to take your phones away, but it's we are inviting you to turn your phones off.
mm, mm.
We'll take care of the photos.
And what do you think were your if you were like to describe what were the symptoms or the early signs of emotional and maybe energetic overload in yourself, like as you'd like to speak about like yourself, so maybe someone who is watching says like, oh, I have that, oh, maybe I need this, oh, what do you think, what were for you?
Poor sleep, uh,
Yeah.
being kind of like it out, you know, again, I want to repeat that how grateful I am for you and for our friendship and for you having come into my life when you did, because that was like you were witnessing me in my literally maybe like maybe the hardest time in my life.
Mm,
And so it's like burnout, right? So
mm,
burnout where like you're constantly tired. No matter how tired you are, you still can't sleep well, even though you're exhausted. Um, Feeling kind of almost like tender, like easily triggered or crying easily. Like you can't you can't get through the day without either with without your emotions or your subtle body kind of
mm,
taking over, you know,
mm,
feeling kind of um, disconnected, right?
mm,
Disconnected from your um, highest, truest, most empowered version of yourself.
yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
like for me, what I felt also like to add to that is like as if I was carrying a lot for a long time, like uh, daily tasks, responsibilities, like my mind was like super active. I couldn't like stop it, it was just like literally controlling my life. And that's one of the reasons, I guess, that in my case, I couldn't sleep well, because it was like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
tired. I go to bed, I fall asleep, and then like 3 hours later, I'm like awake because I have a lot in my head, like sometimes it feels like even if you might be even starting like to feel the body sensations of not having enough breath, like sometimes it's like, oh my god, I'm literally breathing just from up yeah, from here up, and that's it, like the rest of my body is like in my case, it was numb, like for I could even like spend hours without eating, but well, that was an extreme burnout.
Mm.
But yeah, it's true that that for me it's like of course I wasn't like paying attention to what I needed. I couldn't even hear it, like I wasn't like properly taking care of myself. And of course, like forget about like being connected to your sexual rhythm as well, like to your intuition. All that feminine energy was numb. It's come on, you enter into the male energy and you're just like in the action, proactive or active mode, and like the receiving, the holding, the flowing, the intuition. That was completely removed from my life for many months. So I guess that yeah, that's when the signs are telling you, yes, you need to take time for yourself. You need to find the space and the tools that can hold you. And I guess that our intention, no, it's also like to make this space, this retreat, something that they can basically not overwhelm them with tools or techniques. It's just like, let's go simple, let's help you like to connect to yourself, but also like go simple in the sense that you're gonna have yeah, tools that you can take back home and are helpful and can be integrated into your daily life, are not like, yeah, another task to complete, like from your busy life schedule. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
something. Good. Well, would you like maybe I don't know, like to give us a taster of what could be one of those tools or techniques that we can use now and in the retreat, to connect and to return to ourselves?
So, and well, I want to preface this that I know I'm trained in many modalities. And I'm not going to list my credentials right now. There are many, and I've learned a lot of things. I and I have tried them all. So
Mm,
nothing that, and that's the thing about what we have and what we are going to uh, put together. The curriculum, the curriculum of the experience is this and that and this and that, right? So there's a handful of things that all of them are profoundly useful. What's important to know and remember and kind of take away from this discussion and probably even from the retreat is that you don't need to use all of them.
mm,
Maybe there's just two things that you learn from us that you're like, this is it for me. This works for me. I can fit it into my schedule. It resonates. It feels good in my body. I'm noticing it uh, creating change and a shift. And so that's what and with the other, like my other co-facilitators as well, when we come into a space and we have these offerings, it's like here's the toolkit, and then these are the three tools that are actually going to work for my life and that I'm going to apply. And so they are, we're going to talk about food and nutrition. We're going to talk about different movement modalities and somatic practices, embodiment practices. We're going to talk about breath and breathwork practices and how to use your breath and different kinds of breath. We're going to talk about your cycle. We're going to talk about hormones. So there's so many pieces, and I don't want to give it all away right now, but the what's so exciting for me after my, you know, uh, 30 years at this point, 35 years in food and nutrition, and then another 15 years teaching yoga and breath work and all the things, and your background, all the things that we have, now we get to come together and it's like you've got this tray of all these beautiful things, all of
mm,
these nourishing practices that you get to be like, oh, I like that one, and this one works for me, and I'm going to take this one and that recipe that she taught me, or this way to upgrade my sleep hygiene, right? So I think what has downloaded for me right now in this conversation, what I want to talk about and what I want to offer right now has to do with breath. because it is so simple, it is so accessible, it, you always have it. It's a medicine that is underutilized, right? Um, and so I want to share we'll I'll send it to you, Julia, and you can share in the comments. I'm gonna send a link to a free video I have that discusses the importance of breathing through your nose and why that's important. And this is a 20-30 minute, really comprehensive science-based explanation of why breathing through your nose is important. But I want to share just a couple of those concepts so that people start understanding what the benefits are of breathing through your nose.
May I ask you something? Because, like,
Yeah.
don't we all breathe through our nose? No?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
So most people breathe through their mouths.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know. Wow.
especially a lot of people are not noticing and they're breathing through their mouth. And it's
Oh, okay. So it's shorter breath, I guess, no? Like breathing through your mouth. It's just like, it's more like the anxiety type of breath that I was
all
speaking
kinds of
before
things
about.
that are happening when you're breathing through your mouth as opposed to your nose. So
Okay.
mouth breathing, when you breathe through your mouth, it creates a sympathetic nervous, it turns on your sympathetic nervous system, right? Your cortisol response, your stress response. That alone, just breathing through your mouth, will tell your nervous system that you're in fight or flight.
Mm,
And breathing through your mouth or through your nose, excuse me, especially when you're doing it with mindfulness and awareness, tells your nervous system and your brain, we are safe.
okay.
We're safe. If we're breathing through our nose, we switch from a sympathetic response to a parasympathetic response. Rest, digest, relax. We are safe response. So that
Mm,
alone, and they don't, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system they don't act in tandem. One is switched on, the other one is switched off, right? So a really simple way to turn off your sympathetic nervous system is to just begin to breathe through your nose. Simple. And then you can start to add some length or some long, long exhales. There's all kinds of different ways you can change the rhythm of your breathing to even, deepen that parasympathetic response. But the other thing that happens when you breathe through your nose, and a pretty obvious outcome, is that you're filtering pathogens, dust, smoke. You're filtering things in the environment that your mouth can't filter, right? So you got these little hairs in our nose. When you breathe through your nose, you're actually cleaning the air before it gets to your lungs. So you're pressurizing the air, you're filtering the air before it gets into your lungs. So you're literally bringing fewer pathogens into the lungs, into your body. So that's a great outcome. Obviously, we want that, right? That's good, especially when we're in environments where um, we're being exposed to many, many pathogens, right? I noticed that too. Especially like when I'm in an airport or a plane, or sometimes even in a plane, I'll wear a mask, right? If I
mm,
feel, if we're in a pandemic, obviously,
mm.
but so it cleanses the air, it pressurizes the air. When you breathe through your nose, also you're actually you're using your diaphragm more to breathe, right? It's a form of a simple way to start to learn to use your diaphragm to breathe. And when you breathe through your nose, you're actually um, you're drawing air from the lower lobes of your lungs. So you're kind of belly breathing when you breathe through your nose, and you're accessing more oxygen rich from a more oxygen rich part of your lungs, right? The lower lobes of your lungs when you're breathing through your nose. So you're getting more out of your breath, right? And if you can learn how to breathe more regularly through your nose, you're going to take fewer breaths, right?
Okay.
And so it just becomes it's just more efficient way to breathe, right? You're getting more oxygen rich blood from the lower lobes of your lungs. You're using your diaphragm to breathe. You're softening and quieting the stress response, right? So you're turning on your parasympathetic nervous system. It's a more restful and relaxed way of breathing. And then eventually, if you can do it and you practice it and it becomes part of your practice in your daily life, you build lung function. So you create more lung function and you become a better athlete. So
Why do you think like breath is connected to returning to stillness? Like it's a way like to
because it quiets, right? So when you learn how to use your breath to control your autonomic nervous system, then you are control. You are in control, not your nervous system.
Okay.
You run your life. You run your body. You are the one in charge of your entire being and your inner landscape. And so if you can quiet your inner landscape and you can soften the edges of your inner landscape, your outer landscape begins to soften as well. Right?
Okay.
The experience that you are having in the outside world is a reflection of your inside world. And there are physical ways, there are physiological ways, biological ways, harnessing the gifts of our breath to literally take charge of our nervous system so that our nervous system is no longer taking charge of us, right? And being able to, I don't want to use the word manipulate because that has sort of a rigid connotation, but being able to craft your inner landscape from a place of mindfulness and self-awareness and awareness of breath, something as simple as being aware of breathing through your nose, and all these other different ways that we can use our breath, which we can get more into, and we will in the retreat. But it is the most readily available form of medicine that we have at our fingertips every second of every day. Our breath is always there. We might not have access to this food that we want to up-level our pantry or upgrade our refrigerator, and we might not have access to cooking these new recipes. We might not have access to even being fit enough to change our workout patterns or whatever it is. There are lots of things that might be less accessible, but your breath is always accessible, always there. And then when it's not, when you no longer have breath, you are fully ascended and out into the 6th and 7th and 10th and 11th dimensions. This conversation becomes a moot point, right? But as long as we're here on earth and we're living on earth in these bodies, our breath is with us.
Let's go for a practice. Now I'm super excited after this context. That was so interesting. Very Very interesting. I wasn't like thinking that that there are many people that don't breathe through their nose, and I'm gonna supervise or see if I do the same, because I don't know. I think that I speak. Oh yeah, I speak that I breathe through my nose, but maybe I don't. So it demands a lot of awareness. I guess as well. No,
Yeah.
like okay, so let's
So
do it. Let's do it.
I want to share this video, and you can post the link in the comments, and watch the video. And there's some tips in the video too,
Okay.
for you to kind of become more aware of the nose breath. And I offer like a handful of, like I said, just like, I don't want to call them hacks, but tips on how to start a conscious and fully aware nose breathing life. And it will change your life. I mean, it literally, here's another total side note. It increases breathing through your nose, increases erectile tissue and the function of your erectile tissue.
Uh-huh.
You literally have better sex when you breathe through your nose. You will have a better sex life when you breathe through your nose. So, bonus! Who doesn't want that?
Okay, no, no. Okay, okay, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to have a better sex life. Come on.
It doesn't have to be sex with anybody else too. It could just be a better sex life with yourself, right? I digress, but
Okay, do you want to share the practice with us, or now,
it's
or
really, yeah, I'm gonna that is the
okay?
practice, breathing through your nose all day
Ah,
long.
okay. Wow. So there's nothing to practice. It's just like, okay, being aware that
Close
okay,
your
that
mouth.
we're breathing through.
So yeah, the video that I made, it's called Shut Your Mouth.
Uh-huh.
So, and one of the things that will actually help bring more awareness to this is when you're exercising or when you're in a yoga practice,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So what I encourage my students to do and my coaching clients is because you'll notice, you'll be like, wow, this is hard.
Hmm.
You'll notice it's difficult, especially if you're in any kind of cardio workout. So what I encourage one to do is first try it in a gentle practice. Try it in a yoga practice, right? Try it on a walk. Try it. So next time you walk to Santa Cruz, or when you're walking around Pana, and try it when you're just on a regular walk, right? Through your
Yeah.
neighborhood. And then what I encourage people to try is, let's say, so when I get on my bike and I'm going for a ride, and let's say it's an hour ride, I am trying to breathe through my nose for the first 15 minutes.
Consciously, okay. Yes.
Yeah, so because especially like if it's an hour-long workout and it's very rigorous cardio, if it's really tough, rigorous cardio, it's going to be really hard to breathe through your nose the whole time. You can do it though. So what I encourage people to do is just try it. So try the first 5 minutes of your bike ride.
Okay.
Or if you're a runner, try the first 5 minutes of your run. Or if you're a skier, or whatever it is, whatever your cardio workouts or activities are, try it for the first 5 minutes. And then the next time you do it, see if you can do it for 10 minutes. And then the next time, see if you can do it for 15 minutes. So just kind of create goals for yourself. And what you'll notice, especially if you're into performance activities, if you're an athlete, and that's one of the things that makes your heart sing, is these cardio activities in your life. Create goals for yourself, and what you'll notice is your lung function increases and you become a more high performing athlete. you will sleep better. You will definitely sleep better at night. So these are like the
Thank you.
outcomes, the benefits are numerous. And
Thank you.
and it's why I in a yoga class when I teach, I encourage my students. I'll say, let's try to do this whole class through our nose.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll keep that. We'll keep that practice for us, for ourselves, and we'll practice more breathing through our nose in the retreat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move on like to the next thing that we had on the menu for this session, because before I was explaining that Sophia and I we are creating this retreat center. Retreat center. We're holding a retreat in a retreat center called Villas del Carmen in Guatemala. Yes, the name of this retreat is Returning to Stillness, and we have crafted this methodology that is called the Inner Reconnection Spiral. So it's a whole new thing that we're very, very excited like to share with you. And I just want to explain for maybe some minutes what this is about. I'm gonna share my screen. One second. So I can show you something. Vale. Yes. Ajá, no, but wait. Yeah, I have to
Do
come back
this
to.
over again in Spanish, si quieres, si te parece.
Why?
No, for your other audience.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's do it in English. It's okay. Yeah, well, it's fine.
Yeah.
So this inner reconnection spiral methodology, yeah, it's so interesting that it's inspired by the work of Joanna Macy's methodology. I don't know if you know her. Her methodology is called the work that reconnects. She passed away 2 days ago. Yeah, so it was like, wow, I feel like so honored, like to, well,
Mm-hmm.
to have worked with her methodology for many years. Joanna was a Buddhist and, let's say, an eco activist. And this methodology is basically speaking about a healing journey to connect to our eco self. So, in her perspective, you know, like we live disconnected from nature and we needed to do like this journey of reconnecting to nature as and to us as a part of this whole system, you know, like that we call earth, we call nature, we call, you know, like life in general. And I love her work because it was very profound and deep and very connected to the emotions. It's not just about like, okay, let's understand the concept of, you know, connecting to to life, but also like how do I feel, you know, like when I'm disconnected and when I back to connecting myself with the world, with other people, with nature, with animals, with the planets, no? So for many years I was supporting people in creating sustainable projects, and this was part of my work, to use this methodology like to help people to really reconnect to their eco self. And now that I'm moving, you know, like I'm stepping into this new professional path of supporting women in their, basically in their changes, in their transformations, you know, because as we said before, we're living in or at least in my opinion, we're living in turbulent times, and
Mm-hmm.
we there is a need, there is a deep need for us like to connect to ourselves, to the reason why we're here, reconnect us to love, to compassion, to intuition, you know, like to so many things that have been neglected, basically, yeah, by society, you know. So I wanted like to use this methodology in a new context, for let's say a new need, or a need that I was identifying, that was very much needed, not only for women, but for people in general, but in this case for women. So the inner reconnection spiral is this methodology that it's a spiral. It's a spiral journey. It's like life, you know, that we're basically literally ascending if we do the work. Okay, so our lives can be very linear, but the idea of this process is that we ascend, you know, like we do this change, we grow, we evolve, you know, like we don't go back. We move forward, but in a spiral manner.
And
And
then spiral
so
back in, that's that. As the spiral turns inward, that's that hugging in. That's that hug in so that we can shoot back out, right?
exacto, exacto. Yeah, it's like the heart, no? Kind of. Yes, yes. So what we thought is that it would be beautiful, you know, like to use these 7 days that we have together, to go through this spiral journey, through this inner reconnection spiral methodology, where each day is dedicated to one of the steps. And as Sophia was saying before, you know, like for example, like the first day is the day that we dedicate to ground into our bodies, and where we use breathing, where we use, you know, like reconnection, like to this thing that is our vehicle in this lifetime, no, that we don't have a body, as Sophia was saying before, in other dimensions, no, we're just spirits. So in this dimension we really need to ground in our bodies, and some practices that can be very very healing for us is, yes, the breathing, yes, release the stress, you know, like reclaiming being in your body. And I was, as I was saying before, like during my burnout, I completely disconnected from my body. It was just like a piece of flesh that was there, but I couldn't like really feel. And when we go into our busy lives, we tend to numb, you know, like numb, because it would be like too much, you know, like all the inputs that we're receiving from the world. So this idea, like this day, the idea of this day is like, let's ground into our bodies again. So that would be the first day and the first step of this methodology. Then we also have the second day is about like clearing the mind. And I'm sure that if you have done a little bit of inner work and personal development work, you can see that your mind is like super busy talking all the time. And it's really creating a lot of mess. I don't know, like for you, but for me, it created a lot of mess. So I don't think it's possible like to quiet your mind, like turn it like to complete silence. But the idea is like to, okay, so my mind is no longer controlling me. I'm the one in control. I can decide what to think, when to think it, you know. So I'm not a victim of my own thoughts. So what we want to work like during those days is like this brain heart coherence, the ego, the limiting beliefs, and also like the negative mental dialogue that especially like us women we have like towards our bodies, you know, like at least for me, or in my life, what I see is that women in general, we tend to criticize a lot how well our relation to our body, you know, like we don't like our face, we don't like our body, we are too fat, we think we are too fat, we think we're too ugly or whatever. So it's just like yeah, how can we also work with that and see ourselves as beautiful beings as we are. Then the next day and the next step is to feel the emotions. As this is very connected to Joanna Macy's work, you know, it's just like allow us like to sense and to feel how we feel, you know, because the same as I was explaining with the body, we tend to numb our emotions because sometimes they are too much, you know, or that we don't have a safe space, you know, like to be true and honest and you know, like to let go. And so So yeah, the idea is like of these days, like to create that space where we can hold you in your emotions, whatever they are. They can be more positive, they can be more negative, but the idea is like you have that space to recognize, to allow anything that comes to the surface with tenderness. And yeah, that we might use tools like shadow work and sound healing. Sophia is going to do that during the retreat. She has done many, many sound healing ceremonies, so that's going to be beautiful. We're going to create our own sharing circles as well, like as I was saying, like to hold each other in that space of releasing emotions. Then another step is receiving the wisdom. So being able, like to, we mentioned that before, but these busy lives don't allow us like to connect to our insights and intuition and our higher beings. So this day is very much dedicated to that, to allowing you to connect to spirit, basically, like to your higher purpose. And this is very much connected to returning to silence, to meditation, to resting, like, oh, have time like to breathe out and rest and charge, and also will be giving you tools on how to channel, like how to channel your inner beings, your higher self. So that's the fifth day. Sorry, the fourth. No, the fifth. Dos, cuatro. Yeah, fourth. Sorry. So the fifth day is about rewiring your being. So yeah, how can you nourish your new self with compassion? Because after you went like through all these four stages, previous stages, you're becoming a new you. So who is this new you, and how can you nourish and and enlarge and yeah, this new self with compassion. And the last day is about integration, very important. If you have done any healing process, integration is very connected to the previous step, but it's also like, okay, so I'm a new me. I have all these tools. I have gone through all this process. How can I bring this and anchor this into my daily life with ease? So yeah, beautiful journey of 6 days. I think like very, very complete. As I briefly mentioned, that we will taking care of these four dimensions of the human being, so the body, the mind, the emotion, and the spirit. So that's also very important. And soon, I guess, Sophia, will have like the information of what's more or less going to be on each day, maybe like what are the practices. We won't give all the details because that's also kind of part of the surprise of the retreat, but yeah, we will give you more information on that. Anything you want to add that I might have
No, just
skipped?
that the the details that you really need to know if you want to sign up are on the website, are on the landing page, which is on our website, on my website, viaselcarmenatitlan.com. And we'll share the website. I guess
I
in the
already shared it on the chat, but it will be on the comment box
yeah.
of this YouTube
So
live stream.
if you go to the website viaselcarmenatitlan.com, you'll see an events page, and the retreat is listed there on the events page. And we do have early bird pricing. That is really important if anybody's watching this to remember that the early bird pricing is going to expire. And so we encourage you to hop on there and sign up and just commit. As this will, I, I think that the key word here is like you hear everybody claims it's life changing, right? Everybody says wants to use that term or that tagline, life changing. The key to this is the point I want to bring home right now is that, okay, yes, it's life changing. This is life enduring. This is lifelong, right? It's not like you're going to change and then you're going to go home and you're going to just go back to things the way things were. You will change forever. And these are simple tools. This isn't complicated stuff. Like I said, here's one I just taught you. Breathe through your nose. Easy, right? So it's life enduring, not just life changing, life enduring retreat that is extremely well priced. This is not, we're not charging $6,000 to have this experience. This is a very affordable retreat, and it is in, well, you just say it, it's the most beautiful lake in the world. The most beautiful lake in the world.
Are you seeing my screen? No, are you seeing what I'm sharing so they can see the pictures of Villas del Carmen? Yeah.
Yeah, I see
Okay,
it.
good.
Yeah.
Good. It's the first time that I share my screen with this app, so I didn't know it was
Cool. Yeah, I
working.
can see it.
Okay.
So if you go on there there's a contact page. You can write me. You can write Julia if you know Julia. We can get on a call too to answer any questions. She and I are both very available. This is what we are envisioning and manifesting and calling in for you and for us in service, because we sit in service. We sit in this seat of the teacher, and when you sit in this seat in service, the outcome is studentship. The outcome is always learning and growth. So it's this water wheel where we are making this offering, and then it dips and pulls back up from an infinite reservoir of love and light, and it fills us back up, and then we get to give it out again. So this is our joy, it's our passion, it's our goal, it's our purpose, and we can't wait to do it together. And we love being together too. Even though we're in opposite parts of the world right now, we will get back together soon.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, maybe you wanna say like some things about like what is Villas del Carmen, like how is the retreat? I don't know, like what some details. Like at least I can say like for me, it's a beautiful property. We're very lucky to be just on the shores of the lake, you know, with a pool, which is something very exotic here. I mean, like people think that yes, so many properties have a pool, and that's not true. We have pool, we have hot tub, we have beautiful food. No, Sophia, what about the food?
Yes, the food's going to be spectacular. So originally, before I shifted into the wellness field in 2010, I guess, 2010. Well, I'm still a chef. I've always been a chef. I started cooking professionally when I was 15. I grew up in a restaurant and I get asked a lot. People are like, "Well, aren't you tired of cooking?" And no, my answer is no. So I just did a retreat. We finished on Sunday, so day before yesterday, and it was a 4-day retreat. I cooked every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I guided the sound healings for this retreat. And it, again, like I said, it fills me up to serve. It is one of the ways that I feel nourished in my being, is to nourish other people. And I know that. I'm sure of it. And again, that's why when I do get asked that question, aren't you tired? Don't you ever get tired of being in the kitchen? And
Nope.
no,
Good.
especially not when there's a purpose there. You know, I am tired of working in restaurants. I don't want to do that anymore. But I I am not tired of cooking and nourishing people, especially in this type of container, a retreat container. That is a retreat that I'm crafting with my dear friend, and we're bringing this to women who not just need it, but desire it, right? From the root of their beings. So yes, the food will be spectacular. That's
Yay.
we also grow a lot of food right there on the property. So we have a beautiful organic garden. We're growing lettuce, herbs, tomatoes, cucumbers, squash. Sure, I'm forgetting some things. And then I have numerous contacts in Guatemala who are raising chickens, pastured eggs, mindfully, sustainably raised, grass-fed beef, all the things. So all the ingredients that make a meal really truly nourishing, right? It's about the ingredients. So that's going to be amazing. Yes, we have a beautiful pool. We have a jacuzzi. There are 4 homes on the property. The property is right on the shore of the lake, and so we have a dock, literally steps from the lake, and it's nestled in a little bay, in a small village, which is the only village on the lake with no road access. And so it makes it a very kind of special and somewhat insular container. You don't hear cars. You definitely will hear boats passing, right? But it creates for something that's very sacred and special and unique to the lake also. And that's something I want to repattern that I just noticed in myself, that I'm using filler words like that too often, is like that word I'm working to change that. So instead of so what we get to experience and what we get to I did it again. What we get to sit in and what we get to embody is fullness through connection, through feminine connection, right? And that's what's so sweet and special about this property too, is it's like a hug. You know, you are literally being held by the land and by us. Distractions.
Well, yes. I'm gonna have to start we're gonna have to start to close.
Yes.
Okay, but before we close, as we already gave all the details, let me give everyone the last practice, that they can take home, apart from being aware that we're breathing through the nose. That was very important. So. So okay, so my contribution, for you, to return to stillness where you are now. We're gonna do a small practice, maybe 8 minutes, where we're gonna go through connecting to your body, to your mind, and to your higher self. So as many of these practices, they're gonna happen, or it's gonna happen with your eyes closed. So I invite you, if you're watching this video, this live or the recording now, to close your eyes and to bring attention to your breath. As Sophia was saying before, there is no need to change it. Just observe how the air flows in and out. You can bring attention to the sensations in your body, how your feet are connected to the ground. And you can imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet, anchoring you, holding you, and making you feel safe. Your body begins to soften and rest. And as you exhale, you whisper gently, ground, ground, ground. So you can feel your body dropping a bit more into the earth. With those roots connecting you to the earth. You are home. Good. And now gently I invite you to turn your attention to your mind, to watch your thoughts as if they were clouds in the sky. You don't need to fight them and you don't need to change them. They're there and they're just fine. And then you remember that these thoughts are not you. You are the one observing your thoughts, so that you can choose. You can choose to feel identified with your thoughts, and you can choose to be simply the person who observes. And with this realization, imagine you put and you gather all those thoughts in a small box. Grab all the thoughts that are in your head and around you and put them into that small box. And you, the person that is observing, now closes the box and gently you put it aside. And suddenly you feel a great relief. You're no longer your thoughts. You feel empty, and empty, comfortable. Okay, so imagine in that emptiness that you pick up a whiteboard and a marker and you write, I am peace, I am calm. I am peace, I am calm. How do you feel by being your peace and your calm? How does it feel in your body? Breathe into that peace and that calmness. Good. And now I invite you to imagine a golden light pouring down from the universe, from top of your head, entering through your crown, through your head, and flowing down softly through your entire body, all the way to your feet. Feel this golden stream bathing you. It's pure, infinite wisdom. It's the golden light of the wisdom of your higher self. And it brings you a message. What is the message for yourself right now? What do you need to know? Just listen. It might be subtle. It might be a sensation also in your body. It might be words. Trust what arrives. Good. So connect again to your feet on the ground, feeling your body present in this room. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and come back to this space. Any messages, my dear Sophia, that you want to share? Maybe you don't want to share. It can be private. No.
But I want to share that I do have to go.
Uh-huh. Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here today with me and for sharing all your knowledge. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Un abracito.
Igualmente.
See you soon.
Te quiero mucho.
Ciao.
Chao.